My coworker challenged me to pool after work. If I sink this, you owe me a kiss. If I make this shot, you owe me a kiss. She laughed. Then he sank the ball, and suddenly neither of them knew how to joke anymore. By 5:30 every Friday, the office emptied faster than a sinking ship. People grabbed their bags, said quick goodbyes, and disappeared toward restaurants, apartments, and weekend plans. Everyone except Rowan Carter. At 29, Rowan had become known at work for two things: finishing impossible projects and pretending she didn't need anyone's help. She was smart, organized, and fiercely independent. She was also terrible at pool. Ethan Blake knew this, and he never let her forget it. Ethan was 31, worked on the same marketing team, and had an irritating habit of appearing whenever Rowan was struggling with something. Printer jam? Ethan fixed it. Coffee machine broken? Ethan somehow knew what button to press. Presentation running late? Ethan stayed until midnight without being asked. Rowan found him incredibly annoying, mostly because she liked him. She just refused to admit it. That Friday, Ethan leaned against the office doorway. Pool? Rowan looked up from her laptop. No, you didn't even ask where. Because the answer is still no. Interesting. What? You've rejected me 3 Fridays in a row. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness, second chances, and unexpected love can change a person's life, please take a moment to like this video and comment where you're watching from below. And don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Love for more emotional, heartwarming stories that stay with you long after the end. Let's begin today's story. Rowan narrowed her eyes. I rejected pool, not you. Ethan smiled. That sounds dangerously close to admitting you like me. She grabbed her bag. Don't get excited. 20 minutes later, they were standing inside a small neighborhood pool hall. It wasn't fancy. There were old wooden tables, warm hanging lamps, soft music, and a bartender who seemed to recognize half the customers. Rowan picked up a cue. I should warn you. Ethan raised an eyebrow. About what? I've never played seriously. I know, and I'm probably going to lose. I know that too, she pointed the cue at him. You're enjoying this. Absolutely. Their first game began. Rowan missed her first shot. Then another, then she accidentally hit the cue ball so hard that it bounced off the cushion and nearly rolled into Ethan's shoe. He laughed. Professional. Shut up. You're improving. I haven't made a single ball. Exactly. Your consistency is impressive. She tried not to laugh. She failed. And somehow the evening became easier. They talked about everything except work. Childhood memories, favorite movies, places they wanted to visit. Things they were afraid to admit to other people. At one point, Rowan asked, Why do you always stay late at the office? Ethan's smile disappeared for a moment. Habit. That isn't an answer. He leaned against the table. My dad died when I was 23. Rowan's expression softened. I'm sorry. He was sick for a long time. I started working constantly afterward. It was easier than going home to an empty apartment. Rowan lowered her cue. I didn't know. Most people don't. Why didn't you tell me? Ethan looked at her. Because you never asked. The words stayed between them. Rowan looked down. Maybe I should ask more. Maybe. They started another game. This time Rowan actually sank 2 balls. She celebrated like she'd won a championship. Ethan clapped. I'm proud of you. Don't sound so surprised. I'm trying to be supportive. You're terrible at it. Fair. Then Ethan studied the table. 1 ball remained, the 8th ball. He looked at Rowan. You know what? What? Let's make this interesting. She immediately became suspicious. How? He pointed toward the 8th ball. If I sink this shot, he paused. Rowan waited. You owe me a kiss. Her eyes widened. For a second she didn't know what to say, then she laughed. You're ridiculous. That's not a no. Fine. She folded her arms. But if you miss, Ethan smiled. Then I owe you dinner. Make it a very expensive dinner. Deal. He positioned himself over the table. The room suddenly seemed quieter. Rowan watched him line up the shot. Ethan looked at her one last time. Ready for you to miss? For you to admit you were nervous? I wasn't. He struck the cue ball. It rolled smoothly across the green felt, hit the cushion, changed direction, and dropped the 8th ball straight into the corner pocket. Rowan stared. Ethan slowly stood. Well, she shook her head. You practiced that? I swear I didn't. You absolutely practiced that, he laughed. So, Rowan looked at him. The teasing expression on his face had disappeared. For the first time that evening, he seemed genuinely nervous. Do I really owe you? Ethan took a step closer, then stopped. You don't owe me anything, Rowan blinked. What? I was joking. You made a bet. I know. Then why are you backing out? Because I don't want you doing something just because you think you have to. Rowan stared at him. That answer was completely unexpected. You really weren't going to ask? No. Why? Ethan smiled softly. Because if you ever kiss me, I want it to be because you wanted to. Rowan's expression changed. Suddenly, she understood something. Maybe Ethan's jokes had never really been jokes. Maybe all those late nights, all those coffees, all those little moments, had meant something. She looked at the pool table, then back at him. "You're making this very difficult." "I'm sorry." "No, you're not." "No," she smiled. They left the pool hall around 10. Outside, the city was quiet. The rain had started. Ethan opened his umbrella. Rowan stepped beneath it. For several seconds, they walked without speaking. Finally, Rowan said, "You know what bothers me?" "What?" "You've been there for me for almost 2 years." Ethan looked at her. "And I never noticed how much," he smiled. "I didn't do it so you'd notice. That makes it worse." "Why?" "Because now I feel like I've been the selfish one." "You haven't." "I have." "No," Ethan stopped walking. "Rowan, everyone has something they're carrying. You don't have to apologize for not seeing mine." She looked at him. "And what are you carrying?" He hesitated, then answered honestly. "Loneliness." The word hit her harder than she expected. Rowan looked at him for a long moment. Then she quietly said, "You don't have to carry it alone anymore." Ethan's expression softened. Neither of them moved. The rain tapped gently against the umbrella. And for the first time there was no joke between them. No bet, no teasing, just honesty. Rowan smiled. "You know, what? I still think you cheated." Ethan laughed. "On the pool shot?" "Yes. How? I don't know yet." "So you're accusing me without evidence?" "Absolutely." He shook his head. "You're impossible. And you're annoying. Fair enough." They continued walking. The following Monday, Rowan arrived at work expecting everything to feel awkward. Instead, Ethan placed a coffee on her desk, her favorite. She looked at him. "What's this? Peace offering?" "For what?" "For making you think I expected something from you." Rowan smiled. "Thank you." Ethan turned to leave. "Ethan," he looked back. She held up the coffee. "You remembered." "Of course." He walked away. Rowan watched him disappear around the corner, then she smiled to herself. 3 weeks later, their team finished the biggest project of the year. Everyone celebrated. When the office finally emptied, Rowan found Ethan packing his things. "Pool?" she asked. He looked surprised. "You're asking me?" "Yes, are you sure?" "Very." They returned to the same pool hall, same table, same warm lights, same quiet music, but this time Rowan picked up the cue first. "Your turn," Ethan smiled. "You're getting confident." "I've been practicing," he laughed. "You practiced?" "Maybe." She lined up her shot. The cue ball rolled forward. It struck the target. The ball dropped cleanly into the pocket. Rowan turned around triumphantly. Ethan applauded. "I'm impressed." She handed him the cue. "Your turn." He took it. "So what's the bet?" Rowan smiled. "No bet. No, no." "Then why are we playing?" She looked at him. "Because I like being here with you." Ethan's smile slowly appeared. "That's a much better reason." They played until closing, and when they finally stepped outside, Rowan looked up at the night sky. "I think I owe you something." Ethan shook his head. "You don't owe me anything." "I know," she smiled, "but I want to say something anyway." "What?" "You were right." "About what?" She looked at him. "Sometimes the person you're looking for is already standing beside you." Ethan smiled. "And sometimes," he paused, "you just need enough courage to notice." They walked down the quiet street together, no dramatic promises, no perfect speeches, just two people who had finally stopped hiding behind jokes. And years later, whenever someone asked Rowan how their relationship began, she always told the same story. It started with a pool table, a ridiculous bet, and one man who cared enough to say, "You don't owe me anything." Because that was the moment she realized he wasn't trying to win a kiss. He was trying to win her trust, and somehow that was worth far more.